Hello, everybody. It's Trish Carr from Women's Prosperity Network, and we're here again with another episode of Be Real, Get Real with Women's Prosperity Network. And I'm so thrilled that you are here with me this morning because we're going to have a fabulous conversation. For those of you who've been following the show, you know that this show is all about getting to know the people that you do business with. And it's always my pleasure to introduce you to one of the members of Women's Prosperity Network. And today we have a really juicy conversation because we're going to talk about love and sex. I love it. So stay with me for sure. In fact, give me whatever comments you have in the chat as we have this very juicy conversation. And go ahead and grab your water, your coffee, and stick with us for the next 15 minutes or so as we get to know our guest, Stacey Murphy. And Stacey, what a story she has. You know, 2020 was a big year for a lot of us, but for Stacey, it changed her entire life and shifted her business. So on Be Real, Get Real, we have conversations with the people we do business with, because the truth is we do business with people, not with businesses. So the best way to decide to do business with someone is to find out who they are, because that leads to liking them, which leads to trusting them, which leads to buying from them. And it creates relationships for us when we can make partnerships, when we're working with the same customer. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to Stacey, who is a relationship and life design engineer. Welcome, Stacey Murphy. So glad you could be with me today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Trish. It's wonderful to be here.
Yes. And where are you now? You're in San Diego, right?
Well, right now I am in San Diego. I've been doing what I say, being a digital nomad for this year, and was in 4 states
Wow.
this
Where else
year.
were you?
Well, obviously in Florida, as well as New York City. That's where I'm
Oh,
originally from. And I spent quite a bit of time there, which is the longest I've been in 30 years. And then I was in Colorado.
oh, nice. Were
Um,
you in Manhattan?
Actually, here was the first time with everything that's going on with life, and this is actually the first time going back to New York City, where I actually was not in Manhattan. I stayed in Brooklyn for most of the time, which is something very new to me.
I'm a
Um,
Brooklyn girl. That's where I grew up.
yeah,
I,
we are the
I,
Brooklyn
I
Babes.
was Brooklyn before Brooklyn was cool.
We call ourselves the Brooklyn Babes, is what we call ourselves in the family.
Nice. Very nice. And Colorado, where were you there?
Colorado Springs, and Denver.
Oh, beautiful. Both places beautiful.
Yes, first time. So just doing a lot of new things for the very first time in my life this year, right? And so uh, it's been one of those things where I'm in my mid 50s and I've been trying so many new things. So life has definitely been interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I know all of that was a catalyst from 2020 and
Yes,
what you went through there. And it was really the catalyst to reboot your business as
yes.
well as your life. So you were doing both of these at the same time, which is a lot to take on. So tell us about what that was and how that all came about.
Well, everybody knows 2020, it was one for the record books, right? With everything that was going on. And one of the things that I had shared with my community was, if you only had 15 or if you only have 14 days, right, to live on this earth, is what you're doing, how you want to leave this world, and are you happy with it? And if your answer is yes, keep doing what you're doing. But if your answer is no, that is a catalyst that you need to make some changes in your life because the entire world was going through a change. And so, I had this what I call creative discontent. And what that is everything in my life was going fine, right? Nothing was bad, no drama, nothing.
Right.
However, however, there still was this missing link that wasn't there because my excitement for life kind of petered out. Some of the other things I was doing, it was good, but it wasn't exciting. And so I made a radical shift in my life. And the partner that I was with for over 6 years, I stepped back from that relationship, and we are very, very good friends right now. But then the other thing was, I wanted to make a shift in my living situation where my business was. And that's when I decided, well, we talk about being, having a laptop lifestyle and we can work anywhere. We talk about that so much in coaching, but when you can actually do it is a whole thing. And so that's when I decided in 2020 just to make this radical shift and change and go on this exploration to see where my next step is and my new sense of home. And so I started planning it in 2020. Went and stayed in California for like a month and then 3 weeks. And then this year, I was like, all right, I'm going to be a digital nomad and I'm going to go on this adventure. I'm going to see where it takes me. And it's been one joyous and one adventure after another, I can actually say.
Well, you look like it's been joyous and it's been adventure, but I have to tell you, as attractive as the digital nomad life sounds, and I love travel like you. I like going to different places. I don't know. I'm such a home person. Like I feel disconnected when I'm not in my office when I'm doing
Mhm.
business. Like it's weird. I go on the road all the time but there's something. So how do you get comfortable from place to place? Like how do you deal with that kind of disconnect?
Well, I have to honestly say, Trish, I'm exactly like you. I want my home base. I work at home. And here was the issue. I was getting too comfortable.
Oh,
And that comfort was turning sometimes into where that creative discontent was there. And what I wanted to do is, did I have to shake things up? No, I didn't. However, I wanted to get reconnected back with passion in life. I wanted to wake up in the morning and go, okay, what is my next thing that I'm doing? And I felt I was way too comfortable and I was
mm,
way too complacent. And I wanted to shake things up so that I can have what I call a deeper sense of appreciation around life. And that definitely is what COVID
yeah.
that definitely is what COVID did, is like having a deeper appreciation for life. So I made myself uncomfortable on purpose so I can literally see what I'm made of. And I've never done this before in my life. And I'm in my mid 50s. And so what I've learned though is I've learned the beautiful lesson of detachment. I've learned the beautiful lesson of not having expectations and really to go with the flow. Like if something is not working the way you thought, okay, you got to pivot real fast. You don't have time to sit there and, pontificate and all this other stuff. And it's been amazing to see how resilient I am in a different way. And then to be able to be in these different areas and create a sense of home, which is something I've never done. And
Yeah.
I learned that I can actually do it. I didn't think I could do it, but I can actually do it. And so, like at the end of this year, which is literally in like what, less than 2 months,
Yeah.
I'm going to do a video. I've been doing these life design videos for my community to share with them the journey that I've been on, the ups and the downs, things that go sideways, all the different people that I've been meeting, because I've actually been using my own training, navigating this digital nomad life. And so, with that, I've had some really rich experiences. I've had some bizarre ones as well, like that. But it's been more rich and more fulfilling and more eye opening. Talk about having ahas, awarenesses, and, things of that nature, which I'm going to be using moving forward. So, what I realized was, yeah, I love having my home base. And though this is why I'm also having a tiny mansion built for my business called the Vixen. That's what the tiny mansion is going to be called. And so that's going to be my home base. But then I love staying in another area for like a month, but
Yeah.
I still have my home base. And that's one of the things I learned this year. I learned what does or doesn't work, what I will or won't tolerate. Also looking at developing different ways of developing relationships with people, whether it's personal, whether it's business, and just that whole entire getting out of your own stuckness and getting out of the complacency. Because when you do that, it literally had opened up other doors in my business that before this weren't even on the radar screen.
What did it open up in your business for you?
Like, for example, when I first went on this journey and I got to the West Coast, I had taken this tiny course, how to do this. And my teacher, when I got here, she goes, "Girl, there's going to be an expo. I need some help." So I was like, "Hey, I had done that marketing. I've done
Yeah.
many expo events, so I helped out with that." But that one little volunteer, I volunteered. It's actually one of the strategies I teach in my coaching program. So I volunteer so I can meet a lot of people in a short period of time. And from that, I got invited to all this business networking. I got invited to a business dinner that had investors there, real estate agents there. And
Whoa.
all of a sudden, I'm like, la, 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 la. And I'm doing, like, my love goddess training, doing my charisma as I'm, navigating in this new world. And all I was doing was sharing my story. Everyone is like, "Well, what made you go on this journey?" And I asked, I shared why, and they were just fascinated. And that led to me being invited to a NLP mastermind, which then made me get invited to something else. And then from the mastermind I was invited to, I met a woman that owned a yoga studio, and I started teaching
Oh, wow. How
again. And that was the
wonderful.
first time. I seriously, Trish. I taught my first class, it was in October, and I'm teaching again actually in a week at the same place. First time I taught live in almost 3 years.
That's amazing.
Yes. And all of it was from volunteering. Literally, I was here for a week. And then I was asked to volunteer in Los Angeles. So I was out there. And then I met some other people out in LA. And one thing has led to another, where now I'm going to be doing some collaborating in the tiny industry with my coaching, which is something that wasn't even on my radar screen when I started this journey. And I was like, okay, right. So, but that's what the universe is bringing to me. And so I was open to, like, let me go investigate this. Let me see what this is about. And so that's what it did. So that's part of this journey that I've been on, in terms of discovering so many new things that I wasn't even familiar with and wasn't even thinking about.
I love first of all, the whole point of just get out there and do it. Volunteer. I may not, I mean, I might have some skills I can bring, but what the hey, I'll figure it out as I go. When you do that, I mean, clearly everything that's happened for you has been a
Mhm.
result of you getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I love the term that you used, creative discontent. So
Mhm.
many of us, we think, there's more. I mean, life is good. I have the money coming in. I live in my house. I have good friends, but I know there's more. And there's a longing almost.
Yeah.
And it really is creative discontent. I love that expression. I think most people have felt that in some time in their lives, but
Mhm.
you had the guts to go and do something about it. And look what happened. You got to go teach in something that you obviously love to do, but you haven't done for 3 years.
Yeah, the last class I taught was February 2020, or should I say the last live class in person. I've been continuing doing stuff virtually, but really getting out and interacting with people again, I hadn't done it since February 2020. And so it's opened up that door again for me. Also opened up other opportunities, where I said it even reinvigorated the intimacy part of my coaching, which had kind of, been a little bit anemic. I was focusing in other areas, but coming back here and just really being in this environment where this is the first time. Also, I'm in an environment where people are speaking my language. And that had never felt that before, not even in my hometown of New York. And so that was something that's been extremely new for me. And if I didn't take the chance and, go on this adventure, I would have never learned that. I would have
Yeah.
never found that out. And so, yeah, there's been ups and downs. I mean, I'm not going to tell everybody here it's all been roses. There's been a lot of anxiety moments because you're in a totally different environment. However, when you can navigate that and really look at where those emotions are coming from, where that fear may be coming from, that's just the universe trying to give you an opportunity to heal that. And it's your opportunity to either take that opportunity and see where it goes, or like I say to people, just stay where you are, but then you can't complain.
That's right. You have no right to complain.
Right. I mean, it's like it's either, if like you said, with the creative discontent, it's either do something about it, see what is there for you, or if you want to stay where you're at, that's fine, but don't complain about it. And things
Yeah.
of that nature. So I know when and here's the other reason why I did this. It's when I also have my Vixen HQ back, which I'm actually in the process of it's getting built. Um, I know I'm going to have a deeper sense of appreciation for what I do have in my life, not taking things for granted, really being present in those relationships with friends, with family, because that's one of the things that COVID did is I started talking to my mom like every single day or in
Mm.
contact with her every single day. And I've maintained that ever since the whole pandemic has started. So I've seen how my relationships with people have also gotten a lot richer as well because of a greater sense and a deeper sense of authenticity. And so I know there are a lot of women who are afraid to take that leap. They're afraid to get uncomfortable. A lot of us are like that, myself included. But I will tell you this is when you can move forward and you know why you're doing it. That's the biggest thing. It's why are you doing what you're doing? And if you were to, like I said, the power of reinventing yourself, you open up doors of opportunity that you didn't even know existed. And so, if I can recommend one book that really did it for me in 2020, it was The Surrender Experiment. And that is by Michael Singer. And I read that book in 2020, and it literally made a massive shift in my life. And with the surrender experiment, it's about trusting yourself. And it's about trusting the signs and the synchronicities that you see, because that is how whoever your creator is, right? Whoever you speak to up there, right? What happens is that's how your creator in the universe speaks to you so that you can make the right decisions for yourself. So this is why, I live and breathe by following the synchronicities and signs, because that is how the universe speaks to me, and then I just go with whatever pattern that is there. I just go with it and I no longer question it. I used to, and I said, okay, let me move forward with this and let me see what happens. And then I would see, you know what, everything was fine. And then I would take another step forward. And then I would say, okay, everything's fine there. And then one thing led to another. And now I don't even question it. If I get a pattern, I just go with it. I don't overthink it or anything, and I just go and see where it leads me. And I have to say, 8 times out of 10, I've not been disappointed. If I've actually gotten more than I thought I was going to receive. And so even in those times where, you know, this is not what I signed up for, in some ways it was what I signed up for, because that is the lesson that I had to navigate and learn in front of me. So that's the big thing for me, and just wanting to share on this crazy journey that I tell everybody that I've been on this past year. And I have finally found my sense of home.
Oh my
And
gosh, that's so wonderful to
yeah,
hear.
yeah, finally have found my sense of home, and so I'll be literally next year planting roots
I love it. In your tiny mansion.
in the tiny mansion called the Vixen
The
8.
Vixen,
Yes,
right there with your website, the Vixen Academy.
yes, the Vixen HQ. Because I tell ladies, Vixen stands for a woman who is vivacious, she's intelligent, she's extraordinary in her own right, she feels empowered, but she also knows when to be naughty as well as nice. Right?
Yes.
And stuff like that. Because, good girl syndrome, you know,
Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Not
No,
for me anyway.
it doesn't work. I mean, it's and so yeah, it's been a journey. I can't say enough, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Wow, that's
And
great.
if someone said, "Would you do this again with what you experienced this year? Would you do it again?" And the answer would be yes.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
100%. That's awesome.
100%. I just, yeah, there are just so many. We only had a little bit of time, but when I tell you the synchronicities that I have experienced here, it is mind blowing, right? And that's why I said this is how the universe speaks to you. And there'll be one last thing. When I was just visiting, and I met through a Facebook group, in a tiny Facebook group in San Diego, another sex coach. I met up with her when I got here. Well, we were having lunch, and she said to me, "You know, I went boogie boarding the other day with a good friend of mine, Stacey Murphy." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? We just met right now." She goes, "No, I have another friend. Her name is Stacey Murphy." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then she's like, "This has never happened." She goes, "The two of you spell your names exactly the same."
With
I was
an
like,
E? Stacy with an E?
"Yes."
That's
And
even
but
more
it gets
weird.
better. But it gets better. All right. So then we were talking, getting familiar with each other, and she's like, "Oh, where are you from?" I'm like, "Oh, New York." She goes, "Where in New York?" I said, "Brooklyn." All of a sudden, her face, and I was like, "What?" She goes, "The other Stacey Murphy's from Brooklyn, New York as well." Oh, but it gets better. Okay. But it gets better. So both of us used to be in corporate, and now we're both coaches.
Oh, wow.
I was on a Zoom call, a group call where the other Stacey Murphy was there. And when we both were in Florida at the same time, when we had the Zoom call, then when we were on the call, it was like, I said, "Girl, I said, what sign are you?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm a Libra." And I was like, "You're kidding me," because I'm a Libra.
You don't have the same birthdays, do you?
Her birthday is October 1st. Mine is October 15th.
Oh, wow.
And so we were sitting there just like mind boggled. And that is the level of synchronicity that I'm talking
That is
about. That,
so
how
cool.
are you going to meet somebody with the same exact name as you, from the same area as you, had similar professions like you, and you're both the same astrological sign, and you have your birthday in the same month?
Isn't that
I mean, but that is what
something?
I've been experiencing. That's what I'm talking about, following the synchronicities and signs. So when I was like that, I was like, "Oh my goodness." So obviously the universe is like, "Okay, you belong here because there's another Stacey Murphy that's already here." And then, things like that, you can't make that stuff up.
Nuh-uh.
I tell people I may feel I'm good at manifesting. I'm not that good.
Well, that was amazing right there.
Oh, and that's
Fantastic.
just the tip of the iceberg of the experiences that I've had.
Well,
And
you
this is
have
why
had, oh my gosh, you have had such a journey. It's been
I'm
awesome. Really great.
Oh,
Oh my
oh, yes.
God.
Oh, yes.
Tell me about, before we go, I just want to let everybody know that they can get, so we didn't get into sex as much as I wanted to, that was the subject I was going to go into. But really, Stacey has a background, certifications in all kinds
Mhm.
of sex therapies, if you will.
Yes, I'm
And
definitely a sex
one
coach.
of the things
Mhm.
on her website is the Love Goddess quiz. So just tell me a little bit about that, and then everybody can go pick it up right at that address I have on the screen.
Yeah, well, it's a complimentary quiz, and it's to really find how men see you, and really it's how anyone sees you, but specifically it's how men see you, both professionally as well as personally. Right? Because this is what Love Goddess is. It's confidence training, the art of seduction from the bedroom to the boardroom. And so when you take that quiz, you'll get to see there are like three different archetypes, and it'll let you know which archetype that you're swimming in the sandbox with, and what are some of the pros and cons or challenges of what that may be. And then you get a little synopsis of what it is that you can do. And then you have the opportunity, if you want to get a deeper report, you can go ahead and do that as well. So yeah, go taking that quiz, and it's all about being juicy. It's all
Yeah.
about being yummy. And with my Love Goddesses, like I said, I'm a certified sex coach with intimacy, and I know one of the things I'm really doing big with my ladies is going to be yoni worship. Yes, it's the power of the yoni in tantric perspective. Um, they have such beautiful words for different parts of the body.
So is the yoni the vajayjay?
Yes, yoni is the vajayjay.
Okay.
It's yoni, and it's yoni worship and the power of the vajayjay and everything else like that, because that is our seed of creation. And it's not only because you know what, the yoni is not just for creating babies, okay? It's also for creativity, even in your business, because
Mm.
yes, because it lives in your second chakra, which is your pleasure center, your love center, your creative center. And so many times, if your sex center is closed off, many times your mind is going to be closed off as well. Your mind is going to be closed off as well, because that's where creativity, that's the energy of creativity. So when your sex center is blocked, many times your thinking is going to be very closed off. Your many times you'll tend to even be a little bit more in your head and less in your body, right? And also it's you're not going to be able to be open for opportunities because your brain is going like this versus being expansive.
Hmm.
And so this is why with sex and intimacy, it's also very important for your money because guess what, your money area in your energetically in your body is the same section where your sex energy is. They're both in the second chakra. So this is,
Wow.
yes, so this is why I teach women how to make love to their man as well as their money.
I love that. That
Yeah,
is
because they
so
both live.
great.
Yeah, they both live in the second chakra, which is your pleasure center. And so this is why you have to make friends with it. And so I say, in terms of intimacy, it's whether self pleasuring with yourself or you're with someone else. It doesn't matter. And things of that nature, as long as that area is open, it's healthy, and you're having fun with doing it. And so that's also what this big adventure I've been on. It really leverages into that pleasure center in doing what you love.
I
When you
love
do
it.
what you yeah, when you do what you love, it opens up doors. When I say do what you love, I'm not just talking about business. When you do what you love in life,
Yes.
period, the people that you're with, the experiences, are you going out and maybe going for a hike? If you want to go for a swim, are you doing that? If you just want to take a nap and sleep because your body needs it, are you even doing that? Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm talking about all of those things, not just a narrow scope. We need to really think, are we really enjoying our life? Period.
Yeah.
And really come from that. And if you are, that's when things in life become easier for you and they
Mhm.
flow because you're not going against the grain. You're not trying to make something happen, you're allowing it to happen.
Yes, I love that word, allow.
Mm.
Allow. Gosh, Stacey, you have really blossomed, and life is doing a wonderful job giving you all of this amazing new things, the relocation, the expansion of your business to include life
Mhm.
design.
Yeah,
Life is
even the
good.
hair. I mean,
I know your hair looks great. I
I
love it
mean,
up like that.
it just like I said, trying all new things. I mean, I was in Florida for over 20 some odd years. I left and I'm in in an area that's dry and all this, and my hair was like, "You want me to perform the same way?" She
Oh,
was
no,
like,
no, 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 no. Big
you
difference
know,
between San Diego, Colorado. There's no humidity there. That's because all the
exactly.
humidity's here in South Florida and in
Yeah, I mean,
Orlando.
so I mean, I'm washing my hair and it comes out crispy.
Oh, that's too funny, too
Because it was,
funny.
I had like helmet head. It was so crispy because it was so dry. And
I
I was like,
know.
I have to do something. So I was like, I've never had braids in my life. Never, 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 never had braids in my life.
I love
And
it. It looks
I was
great
like,
on
you
you.
know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm
I
going to do
like
something
it.
totally different. And you know what? It's been a hit. So
It
it's now part of
has.
my trademark quality. I got the Nubian Queen thing going on.
I love that. That's fantastic. The new Aida. Fantastic. Stacey, thank you so much for being with me today and sharing your journey and what's happened for you and how you can really get out of that creative discontent and live the
Mhm.
life you want in every area of your life.
Yes.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you for being with us, whether you're here live or you're watching on the replay or looking on YouTube, wherever you are. If you've downloaded the podcast on Podbean, I'm so glad that you did, and I hope that you are happy that you did too, because creative discontent happens to all of us. And Stacey's a perfect example of what happens when you listen to it and you do something about it. So thank you, Stacey. I appreciate you so much. Everybody be sure to get in touch with Stacey at the Vixen Academy. And of course, you can get your goddess quiz, the Love Goddess, at thevixenacademy.com/love goddess quiz. Thank you so much, Stacey. Thank you, all of you. I hope you have a great day. We'll
Thank
see
you,
you
Trish.
again on the next Be Real, Get Real.